With one glance, you'll know what's happening, backed by expert analysis and commentary. An essential information tool for Asia's decision makers working in this dynamic region. One voice answers your needs. Asia Business News.
Welcome back. It's Friday morning and you're watching Asia Business News. Quickly recapping the morning's headlines now. A Japanese parliamentary committee will decide this morning whether to go ahead with a no-confidence motion against the government. 7 people are missing off the coast of southern China following a collision between 2 ships. And stocks in New York resume their slide. Well, optimism that Sino-British negotiators may agree on financing a new Hong Kong airport may sustain upbeat sentiment on the Hang Seng Index today in Hong Kong. The blue chip index closed up 1% on Thursday. Brokers say foreign investors, particularly the Japanese, are becoming more optimistic about the Hong Kong market. Confidence was bolstered by indications that Sino-British talks are going well. Brokers say hopes for a closer relationship between the two sides may sustain sentiment in the market today. Elsewhere, Manila's share market firmed, buoyed by the strong debut of ice cream stock Selecta Dairy Products. A recovery in shares of Philippine long-distance telephone, PLDT, contributed to the upbeat tone in the market. And over in Seoul, stocks appear to be stabilizing after their recent downdraft. A tug-of-war between profit-takers and bargain hunters left Seoul's composite price index little changed at the close. Brokers say North Korea's message yesterday that it would comply with the nuclear non-proliferation treaty helped to bolster market sentiment. Well, joining me now live from our Hong Kong studios to talk about the market there is Philip Chan. He is Research Director at PBI Securities in the Colony. Philip, good morning. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us on Asia Business News.
Good morning, Martin.
Philip, first off now, let's start by looking at the airport committee. It meets again today. What are you expecting to come out of that meeting? Any more further progress, resolution?
Well, there's been a lot of positive sentiment surrounding these talks and a lot of expectations, I think, as well. But my feeling is that unless we see an outright solution, and I don't think we'll get it in one day, it will probably be, today's meeting and a subsequent one after that. I think unless we get an outright solution, which is officially announced, then we won't see any major reaction in the market. Because we've had these kind of meetings before.
Sure. Okay. Now, as this process has been dragged on and on, how has the market been reacting? And do you think it is only going to react significantly if, as you say, only unless or until there is an outright solution?
Yeah, I think so, because even when there was some positive news just a couple of weeks ago about the impending talks today, this was splashed all over the press, etc. And the market didn't react to that at all. In fact, the market, I think, closed down that day when there was some comment about the forthcoming talks.
Let's move on to property now. Since the release or announcement of the government property package to cool prices in Hong Kong, how have property and property-related counters on the Hang Seng reacted or been reacting?
Since the measures were announced in early June, the prices have actually come back even more. Property counters had already been sliding since March, when the threat of action was announced. And property stocks have come back, as well as property prices, asking prices.
Okay, Philip, let's look a little bit broader now before we wrap up. Now, there's a big question of affordability cropping up in Hong Kong with prices still so high. Now, what do you make of Hutchinson's move to cut prices for selected units?
It's not surprising at all, because all of the major developers in recent offerings of flats have cut their asking prices by anything between 5 up to 15%, depending on the developer. And I think it doesn't really matter whether they cut the prices by, as I said, 5 up to 10, up to 15. It doesn't really matter. I think the market is quite depressed anyway.
Philip, now one quick last question now. Negative real interest rates in Hong Kong cannot last forever. Is what we're seeing is a bubble developing, and is it in danger of popping?
I don't think so, because the measures, although they've been considered to be quite mild so far, I think they will be able to hold the market down for quite some time, the property market.
All right, Philip, thank you very much. We'll talk to you again sometime soon.
Thanks.
That was Philip Chan, Research Director at PBI Securities in Hong Kong. Britain and China failed to resolve a dispute over military sites in Hong Kong and adjourned formal talks to Monday. The joint liaison